Okay guys, good morning. So for the morning session today we are going to have a 2-hour exam for whatever we covered in last 8 classes, 8 days. Okay, but we will have a regular afternoon session. For right now this exam is a closed book, closed notes, no cheat sheet, no formula sheet, calculators are allowed, and the exam will end at sharp 1 o'clock. Okay, thank you guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. This session is for discussion now, and the next session will start at 3 o'clock, where Dr. Hitesh will present the presentation and deliver his lecture. For now, we are having just a discussion session. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, let's start our afternoon session. Your exam papers are corrected. We will discuss them after this session. Uh, so, this session, I want to discuss grant writing proposals, writing proposals. So, how many of you would like to go in academia and would like to become professors, or nobody? Okay, okay, maybe one, maybe two. Okay, great. So there are different types of proposals. Uh, Maybe all have little different requirements, but I'm sure the content and lot of things are very similar. Uh, I'm going to talk specifically the proposals from NIH, National Institutes of Health. Uh, but I'm sure even in India and even other agencies in US, they are a little bit different, but then there is a lot of similarities also. Uh, so NIH has a lot of different, you all have heard about NIH, right? So let's go a little bit. NIH is mostly more translational research, right? Something that comes to market soonish. Maybe they are still funding some basic research, some mechanisms also, but more clinical and translational research, more applications. And now you already know translational research is very interdisciplinary. Clinicians are working with engineers, are working with scientists from chemistry background, from engineering background, pharmacy, surgeons who are actually treating patients. They all have to work together. Uh, NIH translational research are a lot of times looking at unmet need. How can we make quality of life better? There is an aging population. There is global health consideration. How to keep all that in mind and think in future, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what we can commercialize, what we can bring to market. We also know a little bit of this. I won't spend too much time about translational research. Okay. There are a lot of different funding agencies in US, National Science Foundation, National Institutes of Health, Gates Foundation, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, US Army, CDC. There are a lot of government organizations and other private organizations that give funding to conduct research. Also, unlike in India, in US, graduate students and postdocs are funded by the professor, uh, and the professors are getting funding from these organizations to conduct the research, and then that funding is used to fund for the tuition fee and stipend of graduate students or postdocs and research scientists. All the studies we are doing, in vitro studies, animal studies, all those funds are coming from these type of grants. Okay, so in our field, if you do not have funding, even if you have best ideas, there is no funds available to conduct research. So we need funding, otherwise you cannot move your science forward. Funding is not only given to universities, but a lot of funding is also available for startups. And NIH, NSF, a lot of these agencies, US Army, they are involved in funding academic research also, but also startups and to try to commercialize the research also. So NIH has a lot of different types of funding mechanisms. Now we are going to focus more on NIH. So there are a lot of different funding mechanisms. Our grants and we are going to talk about one of the R family grants today. They are more faculty members who are getting established. So R21 is what we are going to talk. Faculty members who are more established, they can also write R21. R01 grants are more considered like, they are like 4 or 5 year long grants, decent funds available to conduct research. R21 grants are more short term grants, 2-year grants with less funding available. Then there are like R03 grants, R15, so depending on, they have criteria. Okay, I don't want to go in all that, but this is our family of grants. Okay, then there are K grants, which are more known as career development grants. They are junior faculty or almost a very senior postdoc, not even postdoc, research faculty who is not tenure track yet but almost there, or a tenure track assistant professor who is more junior. So that type of grants, it's more than a postdoc grant but less than an established faculty grant, K grants. Then F grants are PhD students can get F grants, very competitive. All these grants are super competitive. NIH grants are very, very competitive grants. So there can be pre-doctoral grants for PhD students like F31. F32 is a postdoc grant that you apply after you have joined a postdoc. Then there are like training grants for institutes. Like if you get a training grant, you can hire multiple PhD students, and lot of time training grants are more for a whole department or something, that you can hire 5 or 10 PhD students on it or something like that. SBIRs are for startup companies. So there can be phase 1 SBIR, which can be $200,000-$400,000. There can be phase 2 SBIRs, which are like $2 million. So those are more, you are doing translational research, but you are actually making a product. And lot of times startup companies are needed to apply for those type of grants. So that's another family of grants from NIH. Okay. So for that R family of grants, I'm going to talk today a little bit about R21. They are the 2-year grants. They are also known as more high risk, high reward type of grants. So for example, if you have a more established idea with lot of preliminary data, you go for an R01 grant, which is like almost $2 million grant, 5-year grant. There is more chances of success. You have done a lot of preliminary studies, it's going to work, kind of. R21 is, you have an excellent idea, it sounds great. If it works, it will be very beneficial, but there is a little bit risk also. It may not work. So there, it's a short-term grant with less funds for you to try that brilliant idea that you have. Okay. Now, these are just some examples, what type of grants you are writing. Okay. Now, when we submit these proposals, so I am not going to talk about all these documents today, but I can quickly show you some of the documents when we show an example. When we submit these proposals for R21, it can be like a 100-page document that we are submitting. Because when we are submitting it, see, if you were submitting a proposal, you think what all would be needed, right? You need to show budget, how much money you are asking for. You need to say some justification, why do you need that much money? How will the money be used? You need to show who are the people involved in the proposal? Who is the PI? Who is a co-PI? Who is a co-investigator? Then you need to show their CVs. You say, okay, this person will a PI, but the reviewers want to see what is the background of that person. Are they even trained to do the proposed studies that you're proposing, right? Then you need collaborative and support letters from people. You need facility and resources document. You are saying you will do XPS, but you need to show that you have that equipment available. What facilities do you have? If I'm proposing, oh, I will test these materials in my rabbit model, the viewers want to see that I have animal facility to do the rabbits. Otherwise, where are you going to do rabbits? So all these, and if you have an animal model, you need an animal vertebrate section document where you are explaining justification of animal, what drugs will be used, what procedure will be used. You need that type of document. So all these documents become almost 100 pages when we are submitting that proposal. Now, you need to think when you are writing a proposal that you are selling your idea and convincing the reviewers. Sometimes the reviewers might not be in your field who are reviewing it. It becomes very difficult that your specific field people are reviewing your documents, right? Lot of times, those type of people might have conflict with you also. Either you trained with them, or you trained them, or you have collaborated with them. They cannot review your proposal. So sometimes people are a little bit in your field. Sometimes there might be somebody reviewing your proposal who's totally not from your field. So it's your duty to make your document so easy to understand also, so that even if somebody is not from your field, they can read it and at least understand what you are trying to address. But they are very specific also. Like, you need certain font. If you go below certain font, it can just get rejected without review only. This should be the margin. So whatever proposals you will write in your life, keep these things in mind. You have to make a very professional document when you are submitting it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about 2-3 documents that I want to talk about. Is the first document is specific aims page. Okay, so to discuss this document, I want to explain the review process, how the review of these proposals happen. So what happens, let's say we are having a NIH studies. So where the proposals are reviewed, it's called NIH study section. Okay, so let's say this is an NIH study section. What happens, all over the country, people are submitting their proposals, and for this study section, each proposal will be reviewed by almost 3 faculty members, 3 scientists who are here. Okay, so there is a person, actually, let me explain specific aims first, and then I'll go to explain the process, how it happens. I was just thinking what to explain first. Let me go to specific aims page. So specific aim page is a 1-page document explaining your project basically. Okay, now the document is basically talking about in 1 page, and it has to be 1 page. It cannot be 1 page and 1 line. If it goes over a page, your proposal can be disqualified. Okay, so in first paragraph, you are writing the need, the problem. Okay, that these many people get this issue. Out of these many people die. This is how much it costs to fix it. Like you're explaining the problem and the challenge, right? Then, second paragraph, you are explaining what are you proposing and what is your hypothesis, whatever you're proposing. That's a little bit second paragraph. Then you write, to accomplish this, to figure the objectives and hypothesis, here is my specific aim number 1, here is my specific aim number 2. So you are clearly defining what you are going to do. And then you have a concluding paragraph that, okay, if we are successful, what will it lead to? We will lead to a bigger grant, or it will lead to a product, whatever it will lead to. So this is your first page, 1-page specific aim document. It's a very important document because when we will discuss the process of review, you will see why this document, this 1 page, is so important. So I already talked about it. 4 paragraphs, why this work is needed, what is the solution and hypothesis, what is the overview of your specific aims, and what is the conclusion and why will this help us. Okay. We little bit talked about this, so we can. So now it's your job. In first paragraph, you are able to convince the reviewers that the problem you are tackling is indeed a problem and they should care about it. We care about it as a society. So that's our job, to first convince the reviewers. See, if somebody is from your field, they will immediately know, oh yes, this is a problem. If somebody is not from your field, they should also understand that, oh, okay, I never thought about this, but yes, this is a big issue actually. It needs some solution. They should be able to understand the research area, should be able to speed up current knowledge in the field, understand that there is a gap and whatever you are proposing can help bridge that gap. Second paragraph, what is the main objective and why you think, what is your hypothesis? Third paragraph, here is my aim 1, here is my aim 2. Now, you can have as many aims as you want, but usually we think if it's a 2-year project, having 2 to 3 aims is enough. If you write like, here are my 10 aims for 2-year project, you will get, reviewers probably won't appreciate that. I have sometimes I have even got feedback from reviewers that it's an over ambitious project. See, sometimes you want to impress the reviewers that, oh, I really need this money, I'll do this, this and this, and you're just committing so much that reviewers are saying, okay, this is not possible in 2 years, you are trying to commit too much. So you can get that type of criticism also, so you have to balance it. And then, what's the purpose of this paragraph? Return on investment, why, if you succeed, what will be the benefit of that success, if you are successful in this. Okay, so now, second main document. So see, all the documents I told you before, they are more supporting documents. They all are needed. You know, that biosketch or CV of the investigators, budget, justification, all those are very important documents. But these documents I am talking, they are the main science documents. You can have those, the earlier documents, perfect. But if this is what the main thing reviewers are reviewing, for the grant. Yes, if this is great and you are saying I need $10 million, you will get in trouble that being ridiculous. But this has to be good, and then only the other documents even are useful. So the next document that's important is research strategy. This is the most important document actually. Some people say maybe specific aims is also very important, but this is the main one where you are explaining your whole research. Okay. For R21, it's a 6-page document. For R01, it's a 12-page document. Now, NIH scores you on these criteria. I think it's going to change soon, but right now, this is the criteria you get scored. Background and significance. What's the problem? What's there in market? Why it's not working? Why your approach is great? Little bit significance of the problem. Why what you are proposing is so innovative that it should be funded. And what's the approach? Like you are saying, hey, I'm making antimicrobial coatings, and in your approach, you don't even say antimicrobial testing. Or you are saying, I'll do tests with gram-positive bacteria, but you don't say anything about gram-negative bacteria. Or your animal model is not good. Or you are not doing something properly or not explaining something properly. That's all approach. How will you do the studies? So, background and significance. Now, if you were writing a proposal and it's a 6-page proposal, how would you divide the sections? How much you will write background and significance? How much you will write innovation? How much would you write approach? So I think you're pretty good. That's how much almost we do. So 1 to 1.5 page background and significance, half page to 3/4 page to whatever innovation, and rest approach. So in that significant background and significance, you remember your specific aim page, you had a paragraph about problem and all that. So basically you are expanding that one paragraph to now 1.5 page, right? Describe the problem, why is it important, use stats, healthcare costs, how patients are affected, a brief overview of what is out there and why it is not working as efficiently like what you are proposing will work. And then you are introducing your technology a little bit in that hey, this is in market, antibiotics are there, but bacteria develops resistance towards it. So that's why I think using this technology can be improve the devices, right? Now, innovation is very important. One strong paragraph can be enough. That okay, what is there is very expensive. I have made this new material that will cost 1/10 of the price. Or whatever right now is being used is super toxic. What I have used, it will not be toxic. Right? For nitric oxide, most materials in market are either antimicrobial or hemocompatible. Here is one coating that will be hemocompatible and antimicrobial. Like something really strong, innovative, why your idea is great. Approach. Approach can be divided into a little bit like two A and B. A can be preliminary results and B can be future work in approach. So you can say, but for R21 type of proposal, you want to be careful. If you have so much in preliminary result that you know your material is going to work, just write an R01 then. Then it's not high risk anymore. It's already, you know, it's a good technology, it'll work. Then why not write R01? You get these type of reviews also from reviewers that, hey, it looks like it should be an R01. But you have to balance it. If you have never tested that material ever and it's sounding really ridiculous, then you can get penalized also that, hey, I don't think so it'll work. So you need to balance. You have done enough to convince the reviewer, hey, there is a chance, it might work. But you have not done so much work that it looks like, oh, it's not so risky now, you should try for a different proposal. This does not fit in this criteria. So you show little bit preliminary results that you have done, and now you think there is a potential, but you need more funds to try it and make sure it's working. You can see whatever story you are making, if showing others results can help strengthen your case, then that's great. So for example, you are saying, oh, this group used silver nanoparticles, I'm just making it up, for some crop application, but nobody has tested this and it was great in being antimicrobial, antifungal, whatever you are proposing for that. I just said silver, whatever it is, but nobody has tested it in a medical device. Silver is available in medical device, it's a commercial. I was just trying to give an example. Somebody has done ABC for this application, it was antimicrobial, but putting it in a medical device might be a great step to do. So you're thinking that others are not thinking, right? Or you are saying, hey, somebody has made this amazing antimicrobial compound, but nobody has been able, and it was antimicrobial, killed 99% bacteria, but nobody has successfully covalently attached it to a catheter surface. And if you can attach it to catheter surface, you can make a really amazing antimicrobial device. So of course you can show something that others have done and how you can use it in a different way for a great application. Then you go for future plan. You know, that you discuss your team. So team is very important. You have to keep in the proposal mentioning, if let's say I'm saying I'm going to make a catheter, there is a lot of chemistry involved, there is a lot of microbiology involved, there is animal model involved, and I'm just saying I'll do it. But I'm an engineer, so you have to continuously explain, oh, I have on my team Professor ABC, who is a microbiologist who will help us with this. And I have this veterinarian who will help me with all the animal models. So you need to justify that you have the great idea, you have a great team, you have amazing facilities, and you can do this. Reviewers should feel that also. There should be a very clear timeline that what will you do at what point, how much time will aim 1 take, how much time will aim 2 take. You need to very clearly define that also, right? Then rigor is becoming very important for NIH also, that how things will be done in an unbiased way, how you will use statistical significance to do everything, how results will be interpreted and reported. They just want to make sure that others can reproduce the results. It's done with a very thorough transparency and honesty every experiment, so you need to explain a little bit that also in the proposal. Approach is, what's the aim? Aim 1, I will make this antimicrobial catheter. Okay, but see, you have only 6 pages also, or so 3 or 4 pages also, so you cannot go so much detailed also, but you have to still give enough details there so reviewers can understand what you are doing, and they can trust that you know what you are doing also, right? Which polymers will you use, which antimicrobial agent will you use, how will you blend it or attach it to your polymer, what studies will you do, will you do SCM or will you do leaching study? All that should be very nicely explained. What will your test groups will be, what will your control will be, all that should be there, otherwise you will get a bad score in your approach section. Yes, I was just going to talk about that. So they also want you to think, what are you expecting? So see, I'm saying, hey, here is my aim 1, here is my aim 2. When will I think my aim 1 is done? What am I expecting from aim 1? I'm saying, okay, I want to make antimicrobial catheter. Okay, what does it mean? You kill 10% of bacteria, you kill 90% of bacteria. What is success for you? What do you expect if you put this much antibiotic in this catheter? What do you expect will happen? I expect that if I immobilize this antibiotic to the catheter, my tensile properties will not deteriorate too much, my material will not be toxic, and I expect to kill at least 90-95% bacteria. Reviewers are want to see here, you have thoroughly thought about this project, you know what you are looking for, and you will know when your aim 1 is done, and they want to judge, is that aim 1 what you have designed is robust enough? And then another very important section is potential problems and mitigation. So you're right. Let's say for catheters, the standard or the clinical need is 3 log reduction. And if you are saying, hey, if I can kill 50% bacteria, my aim 1 is done. Reviewers might write a comment for you that, hey, if 50% killing is what you are expecting, maybe your material is not the best material. Even if you succeed, who cares? If the clinical need is 99% reduction, you are killing 50%, is it even worth it then? You might get dinged in approach, or you might get dinged in significance. Is your proposal even significant? Is it even going to solve this problem now? And then potential problems and mitigation is important, because they want you to thoroughly think about your project also. Oh, there is a chance that I am planning to put this much antibiotic in my catheter, it might not be enough to kill my bacteria, or my immobilization might not work, or by putting this antibiotic in my catheter, my tensile properties of the material might significantly reduce, or my surface might become rough, or I might not be able to do sterilization now. You need to have some, you have not done it, we understand, but have you thought what challenges might come up? And then have you thought, what can you do? See, NIH is giving you so much money. Okay, if you cannot do this, you cannot just say, okay, I cannot do it, but you got the funding. So they want to know, have you thought what else can you do? You know, if my surface is becoming rougher, I will put a top coat of polymer coating on the surface. If my antibiotic dose is making the material brittle, I can even go half the dose of antibiotic and still achieve this much killing. What is your alternate plan if what you are thinking is not going to work? How will you fix it? So that's that section. And this is what you will repeat for aim 2 also. So your aim 1, rationale, methods, expected results, potential problem. Aim 2, same. Another thing they say is, when you're writing these proposals, you should multiple places little bit repeat your main idea. The reason is, reviewers are sometimes, not sometimes, they are reading 10 proposals. They might not be reading it at the same time. So let's say your proposal, I'm reading 2 pages right now before a meeting. Then I'll go home, eat my dinner. Oh, I didn't get time today. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to read your next 3 pages. How much did I retain from your reading last time? So if you have, if just in a sentence or two, 1 or 2 spots more, you say the idea again that, hey, I'm making this antimicrobial coating. Reviewers will remember, oh, okay, yes, this person was doing that type of work. You know, so reminding the reviewer a little bit, hey, this is my novelty, 1 or 2 more spots, it can be helpful. Okay. And then you have references. There is no page limit for references. You can have whatever number of pages needed. Confidentiality. So NIH is super strict about it. You cannot talk with your friends, with your colleagues, whose proposal you are reviewing, who is reviewing your proposal. This information can never be exchanged. I cannot tell Professor Hasija, oh, you know, Dr. Kumar's proposal is with me right now. This information can never be exchanged. Even in the study, I'll talk about study section later. Just remember, you can never contact the review panel. NIH can take really strict actions against you or the reviewer if you know that I'm in the review panel and you're messaging me, emailing me, oh, I want to invite you for something. Like, you cannot do all those type of things. So you guys can watch this video if you are very interested in it. But let's talk about the review of NIH proposals. Okay, but before that, this 32 billion might be an old number, so don't worry about that number actually. But NIH has, I think, 27 institutes. You know, National Eye Institute, Cancer Institute, Heart, Lung and Blood Institute. So there are a lot of different institutes. They all have their own budget and their own criteria or score for funding, depending on which institute gets more money, more proposals are submitted, how many they can fund. That's your area, which institute it fits in. See, I don't go to National Cancer Institute because that's not the institute that will fund my type of work. They all have their own visions, their own direction that they are moving in, and they like. But see, National Institutes of Aging, my urinary catheter might fit there. for aging population. So you have to decide where your science fits. Okay. Now, some names that you can remember or don't remember, it's okay. So you are a PI. When you are submitting a proposal, you are the PI. Scientific review officer is the one who conducts the review panel, which we are going to talk about. Program officer is the person after the review happens. So program officers are different for National Cancer Institute, National Aging Institute. These institutes have their program officers. After the review happens, the application goes to program officer. Now program officer talks with you, and if funding happens, they are your point of contact at NIH. Okay. Now, little bit confusing, but the point here is sometimes people get confused. These institutes that I talked about, they are different than study sections or review panels. For example, if let's say we are a review panel, so in my class that I teach in US, we do a study section and students write a R21 proposal also. So we do a mock study section. But so what happens is, let's say this is one study section, BST, okay? We might be reviewing proposals that might tomorrow go to National Eye Institute or National Cancer Institute or National Aging Institute. Okay, the one panel, this panel might be very specialized in materials. Now somebody is making a material that can be used for contact lenses. Somebody can be making a material that will be used for drug delivery, for cancer drug or urinary catheter. So this panel can be reviewing. So it's separate then from institute. It's a review panel. After the review is done, all the applications that are more related to National Cancer Institute will be sent to National Cancer Institute that, hey, for these applications, this is the score of the review panel. NHLBI, here are your applications with all the scores that review panel did. So these reviewers, they are not employees of NIH. They are professors and scientists. We go to review panels. Okay, it's a little bit like service. But this SRO or scientific review officer, that person is an NIH employee. So if I am the SRO or Jitendra is SRO, he is going to contact all of us and say, hey, Hitesh, can you come to my review cycle or study section on June 10th? And then he'll contact each one of you and say, hey, I want to invite you to be part of my study section. So he's organizing it. Okay. Now, before we go, a month or two before, he will send us 10 proposals. Okay. Some of the proposals are R21, some of the proposals are RO1, mixed, but not SBIRs, not the business ones. They are different study sections for that. Each proposal is reviewed mostly by 3 reviewers. Okay. So let's say I got my 10, you got your 10, we all have 10. For this particular proposal, I am reviewer number 1, you are reviewer number 2, you are reviewer number 3. And before we go to NIH, lately some of the study sections are even happening on Zoom also now. Before June 10th, we all send our scores to him. That, hey, here is my review for my 10 proposals. And we all send all our scores to him. So these are the sections that we are scoring the proposals. Significance, investigators, innovation, approach, environment. And in NIH, if a score, 1 is the best score, 9 is the worst score. Okay. So I gave my review. Let's just discuss one proposal. I gave a score of 3. You gave a score of 5. She gave a score of 8. So SRO's job is to average these scores for all the 100 proposals, let's say our review panel is going to discuss. So what he'll do is he'll average all the scores and he will find out the top 50 proposals. The bottom 50 proposals that got low scores, low means high scores, low is good, they won't even be discussed. Okay, they are triaged, or we call it not scored. We scored them, but you will see they are still considered not scored, and I'll tell you why. Now, the day of June 10th, we all will go to the study section and he'll say, okay, Hitesh, this proposal, whatever proposal, I was reviewer number 1. So my job is to explain the proposal, because let's say there are 20 members in this study section. Only 3 of us read that proposal. Other 17 were reading their own 10 proposals, right? But that page I told you, that specific aim page, lot of time people quickly go through that. Okay, the others who didn't read the proposal, they might be glancing through that or reading that to get an idea of the proposal. Okay, so my job is I will explain in 5 minutes or whatever time, 5 to it's. So we only discuss a proposal for maybe 20 minutes because there are 50 proposals to be discussed in 2 days, let's say. So I'll tell everyone, hey, this proposal, this group is trying to make a urinary catheter. They are trying to use nitric oxide for this urinary catheter. The team is strong. They have the relevant experience. I was really excited about this. And I was not very excited about these things. But let me take a step back. The real process is I'll tell him the score. He'll say, okay, Hitesh, I'll say my score is 3. I have given you score in each category, but I still have to give an overall score also. Okay. Of course, if you are giving a 3, you should not be giving a 9 in this or 7 in this. 3 means you are not averaging all these, but it's your overall impression of the proposal. So I said, I have a 3. Okay, reviewer number 2, I have a 2. Reviewer number 3, I have a 3 also. Okay, now I will explain. This is what they are trying to do. I was really excited about these things. I think it's a great idea, but you know, they did not explain this very well. That's why I'm giving it a 3 and not a 2 or 1, because these were the weaknesses in the proposal. Okay, reviewer number 2, do you have anything to add? Don't repeat whatever I said. You might say, you know, I gave it a 2 because I really loved this. Reviewer number 1 has these issues, but you know what? I think they know this, they just didn't write it, or in their past publications they have done it, so I know they can do it, something, whatever they think. Reviewer number 3, you will explain. Now we will open it to everyone in the room to discuss it. Now somebody might say, hey, reviewer number 1, you said these are the weaknesses, but don't you think they are already saying that when they are saying this? Or you are saying they are not doing E. coli, but you know what? They are doing Proteus mirabilis, which is also a very relevant bacteria for urinary catheter. Or they might say, hey, reviewer number 2, you really like it, but have they talked about this? Like they are just trying to ask us questions for us to think more, answer them, keeping process more healthy and more, honest. Now, after this discussion, our SRO will tell me, okay, Hitesh, after the discussion, what's your final score? Maybe after the discussion, I think the project is really good, or maybe I think, I'm not very excited now. It's not. So I'll say, no, I think I still like it. Actually, I like it more. I'll make my score 2. Reviewer number 2. Oh, I'll make my score 1. Reviewer number 3. I'm fine. I'll keep my score 3. Okay, so now what will happen? So minimum is 1. Maximum is 3. SRO will say everybody in the room can give a score between 1 and 3. Actually, they will even say, if you want to vote outside the range, you can do that also, but you have to raise your hand, or don't tell your score, but you have to raise your hand. So now let's say people gave between 1 and 3. Average of that multiplied by 10 becomes your final score. So let's say average came out to be 17. Lot of people gave 1, 2, maybe some gave 3, average is 1.7, multiplied by 10, score is 17. So that becomes the final score for our grant or proposal. Okay, and I said the 50% that didn't score very well, the preliminary score, they are not discussed. We are not going to discuss it. We don't have time to discuss 100 proposals. We are only discussing 50. So they don't get this discussion and this final score of everyone averaged. They will only get what reviewer number 1, 2 and 3 thought, what reviewer number 1, 2 and 3 gave these scores, and the scoring or that sheet contains strengths. So you have to write strength in each and weakness in each category. You cannot just give somebody a score of 6 in innovation, but don't write any weakness. You better be able to write strengths or weaknesses of each section. Okay, if your score is really good and you are not writing any strength, that's also a problem. Say why you are giving it a 1 or say why you are giving it 5. Okay, so reviewers are only seeing, the PI is only seeing 3 reviewers' comments if their score is bottom 50%, and they will not get funded. Even the 50% that get discussed, only the top 10% are getting funded, but they are still getting this discussion and they can resubmit the proposal with improvements that they can make. Okay, so overall impact, likelihood of the project to do it, how well they have explained everything, that's all that. I explained the scores little bit. So usually 1, 2 and 3 are considered really good score. 4, 5 and 6 are mediocre, and 7, 8, 9 are low scores. Lot of time I have heard people also say, when you get a proposal, you start reading, it's a 4 or a 5. Now, while reading the proposal, you are either getting more and more impressed, make it 3, 2, 1, or you are not liking it, there are so many weaknesses, and now you're making it a 5, 6, 7. Also, they calculate percentile from these, because you can imagine there are so many study sections going on, right? These are just some, but they wrote here 200 standing study sections, right? If there are so many study sections are going on with different professors, different scientists, some are more lenient in giving a score, some are more strict in giving a score. average scores might be different in different study sections, right? In this study section, maybe a lot of people are getting 3s and 2s. In another study section, maybe getting a 4, people are so critical that even they are not giving 4 very easily. So after the study section is done, they still calculate a percentile. They are not calculating average score of this study section with average score of a different study section, right? Okay. So for outstanding applications, they are looking for new and original ideas, very innovative ways to do things, good team, no mistakes in the proposal. See, you are asking $2 million from NIH and you have so many mistakes in the proposal. Somebody will be like, okay, you're not even serious about what you are asked, that you can even make a good proposal, right? You have a good team, you have future direction, you have good approach, you are innovative, you have good track record of publications or bringing something to market. Reviewers are looking at all that. Now, we talked about it, but just review panel, there are almost 20 to 30 people most of the time. They are mostly PhDs and MDs. Study sections are based on topics. You know, some are more heavy about cardiopulmonary bypass or something. Some are more about materials and devices. So you need to think which study section is appropriate for your work. Because if I send my proposal to a wrong study section, it might get really different types of reviews because those scientists they recruited are different background scientists. 3 reviewers, worst 50% do not get discussed. The top 50% get discussed. Oh, NIH also made this change few years ago that now they review the proposals in random order. Earlier, what used to happen was whoever got the best score, when our SRO calculated, our SRO is sleeping a little bit right now, eyes are closing, but so SRO, when they make this list, they see who got the best score from the 3 reviewers. So earlier used to happen was the best proposals are getting discussed in the morning, then lower score, worst score, afternoon, evening. But then what was happening was the group was getting more biased. Oh, we have already discussed all the good proposals in the morning or yesterday. Now the proposals are not very good. So 2, 3, 4 years ago, NIH is now randomly discussing proposals because SRO will not necessarily discuss the best proposal at 9 a.m. Maybe the best proposal is coming at noon. And see, the best proposal is only the score the 3 reviewers gave. After it gets discussed in this room, maybe now the new average score becomes bad. Maybe after discussion, people who gave a 2 move it to a 4 and 4 move it to a 6. So until the review panel decides the final score, you never know. Things can change. Okay, so I think it's time. So we will continue this topic tomorrow morning and finish this thing and then we can talk. So tomorrow we have 2 sessions, morning 11 to 1 and then afternoon 2 to 4. Okay. Okay guys, thank you so much.